Star Trek: Behind the Fold. Written and narrated by Riley Wright. Chapter 1. Silence stretched from Alpha Centauri to Triangulum and beyond. It was the same all-encompassing void, cold and suffocating, but alive with energy. The universe was expanding, gaseous nebula giving birth to new stars, causing planets to burst forth with life, which in time would become sentient and take to the darkness in flight. Innumerable beings, unwilling to remain planet-bound when there was so much to explore, branch out, or conquer. Yet the cosmos offered more than stars and inhabited worlds. Ionic storms, black holes, ancient mysteries, and strange beings drifted through its depths. And if one were so lucky, passageways through time and space could occasionally be found, or, as the humans called them, wormholes. Captain Gould detected one such anomaly on his forward scanners, just within range. He snorted in frustration as his bridge crew scrambled to maintain readings that were quickly dissipating as the sluggish ore freighter changed course for it. Gould's occupation as part of the Tellarite mining consortium was to haul dilithium crystals and mining cargo back to his homeworld, Tellar Prime. He had carried out his duties well for over 15 years, working closely along trade routes deep within the Alpha Quadrant. Rarely did anything exciting occur along these trusted routes of his until now. Wormholes and space tears drew the interest of scientists from the Federation and beyond. Such a discovery could very well link his people to other galaxies, opening doors to more trade or, in the very least, new friends to argue with. Gould stroked his tangled orange beard, impatience mounting. "Well?" he barked. His helmsman grunted. "Nearly there, Captain, wherever there is." Nayla, their newest crewmate in charge of transport, faced him from the neighboring console. Gould had learned to hide his nervousness at being so near to her. To his species, she was quite beautiful, with shining black eyes, small snout, and coarse hair. Most attractive of all was her argumentative nature, something he loved to challenge during the mundane hours between shifts. "What is it, Nayla?" he asked, less prudently than he had his helmsman. "Sir, these readings. I think I'm picking up something alive." Everyone listened in interest. Gould abruptly stood and glanced at her sensor display. His practiced eye immediately noticed the blinking life signs and shadow-like blimps of debris up ahead. Without a ship, how could life exist? He thought warily. "Approach with caution, and give me a better analysis of what we've found and what we've missed." His crew obeyed, broad backs hunched over their stations. He reseated, studying the blackness on the forward screen with uncharacteristic trepidation. Did the anomaly cause this, and what became of it? The space around their vessel was now eerily still. How he longed for a specialist, like they had aboard science vessels. His ship and crew simply weren't cut out for such exploratory work. After a few minutes, the freighter ceased her propulsion. The crew gaped in shocked disbelief at the scene of gray outer hull fragments, slowly rotating before them, 2 cylindrical escape pods in their midst. Those life signs. What are they? Gould wondered aloud. The bridge seemed to echo with the pod's internal sounds, a strange, disorderly rhythm of thumps. "At least they have hearts," Gould consoled himself. Nayla pawed the floor in worry. "Sir, we can't keep them waiting out there." "It's my duty to determine who we are about to beam aboard first," he clarified firmly. "We'll start with one of the ship fragments. That'll give us some answers." In a matter of moments, they selected a large, intact piece, and it solidified aboard the cargo bay. Engineer Tao had seen his share of strange things and participated in more than a few questionable dealings over the years. Orient traders often supplied him with enough alien technology to keep the aging freighter out of the scrapyard. He whistled at the smooth duranium hull, a steel gray, and the slightest glint of an alien letter in red, a letter Tao recognized as Earth style. Sweat rolled down his brow as he reached out and traced the still cool, jagged piece with his pink, hoof-like hand. There was no doubt this was the remains of a Starfleet vessel. The cargo bay was crowded with curious crewmen. Upon hearing the news, Captain Gould ordered that the life pods be brought aboard immediately. Everyone muttered in excitement as the lights above reflected off of the dark, smooth surfaces of the pods. Starfleet insignia, now visible in small gold letters above the closing hatch. Gould brushed past his crew, grateful that they had already dropped off their hull on Tellar for the added space it provided them now. His small medical team stood anxiously waiting as well, ready to intervene if needed. Gould locked eyes with the security officers, who flanked the pods with weapons drawn in case the occupants proved hostile. Could the Romulans be responsible? Or the Klingons? Gould wondered about the mysterious anomaly, his questions mounting. Perhaps the vessel remains were pulled into a wormhole and expelled here before its collapse. Dr. Noor, senior medical officer and friend, watched as the first pod was gently pried open. It seemed that whoever was inside could have opened the pod from within if they were conscious. The stillness was worrisome, given his limited knowledge of alien physiology. Everyone held their breath as the hatch hissed forward, revealing a young and bloodied human male. He wore a gold uniform with shining Starfleet insignia stitched to the chest. The man was pale, sweaty, and breathing slowly as if in a deep sleep. Noor motioned to his staff, and they began to take readings as the security officers relaxed and lowered their weapons. He glanced over his shoulder at Gould grimly. "You'd better notify Starfleet. It will take some time for them to rendezvous with us, and I can't guarantee I'll be able to keep them alive until then." Gould grunted. "Already done. I sent a distress signal the moment Tao discovered the fragment's origin. We're already on course for Starbase 7. Noor warily gestured to the remaining pod. "Shall we then? My work's cut out for me as it is." Gould ordered the final pod opened. The lid rose. Gould and Noor involuntarily snorted in surprise as they took in the disheveled black hair, devilishly slanted brows, and pointed ears. "A Vulcan?" he breathed as Noor's medical scanner whirled steadily, unnecessarily confirming this. "I wasn't aware they served with humans." The Vulcan was also young, but not by Tellar's standards. He too was unconscious, blue uniform soaked through with green blood, looking far worse than his human companion. Gould could hear his breathing, coming and going in sharp gasps. Noor shook his head in frustration, sending wiry white hair flying. "What's left of one? And I can't make snouts or hooves of these vitals. He takes priority." Gould stepped aside as the medical staff gently placed the aliens on stretchers and whisked them to the infirmary. He didn't envy the good doctor's job today. Despite the odds, his friend would do all he could for their visitors. Gould only hoped it would be enough. He returned to the bridge to find Nayla waiting for him. She wore an expression of confusion tinged with unease. "Sir, you have an urgent transmission from Starfleet. Apparently a starship is already in this sector and en route to intercept us." "What? Already en route?" He sighed. "I don't like the smell of this." After several tense moments, Noor had successfully managed to slow the Vulcan's internal bleeding, but his chances still weren't favorable. The wound was deep, jutting through his blue uniform, across his chest, and just missing what Nor discovered to be his heart, positioned behind the ribs on the right side, rather than beneath the sternum. Had the human suffered such a blow, it would have been instantly fatal. Nor's hair prickled in realization. A phaser wound. He was just attempting to mend his patient's cracked ribs when something wrapped around his wrist with astonishing strength. The Vulcan's eyes fluttered open, unfocused. McCoy, he gasped. Nor gently pried the hand away, not recognizing the name. You're on a Tellarite freighter. I'm a doctor. Take it easy, it's gonna be all right. The Vulcan closed his eyes tightly as a wave of pain washed over him that transcended his physical condition. The Enterprise. My ship, he asked quietly, almost desperately. Nor frowned. Enterprise sounded more familiar. You and your companion were found adrift in space. We're bringing you both to the nearest starbase. Starfleet will know what... No! Not Starfleet. The Vulcan's brown eyes snapped open again in urgent pleading. Before Nor could question further, the Vulcan deflected, glancing toward his companion instead. His pained expression deepened at the sight of the young man, his head in bandages. The lieutenant. His condition. Nor glanced at the man. The Vulcan must be his senior officer, the way he prioritizes his crewmen. Though his refusal to go with Starfleet, his own superiors, is troubling. He suffered head trauma and some lacerations, but is stable for now. Are you his commanding officer? The Vulcan coughed deeply and nodded. I am Spock. Must locate the Enterprise. It was not an accident. His eyes suddenly closed as he sagged onto the gurney, unreachable once again. Nor cursed at the readings, face grave. I'm fighting a losing battle, and what's worse, he was about to tell me something important. Sometime later, Gull entered the infirmary. Nor was slumped over his desk in exhaustion. He looked up and smiled wanly, displaying chipped yellow tusks. Gull patted his shoulder. You damned old fool, he murmured, failing to mask his pride. The old doctor snorted humorlessly. Serving under you I must be. Gull withheld his usual slew of playful name-calling for another time. How's our visitors? He asked, more seriously, plopping himself on the edge. Nor shrugged. Alive, somehow. The Vulcan called Spock is touch and go, and the human hasn't so much as twitched. He rubbed his deep-set eyes. Goldie's injuries. I highly doubt they're the result of some accident or anomaly. Nor glanced toward the doorway, as if making sure they were alone. He finished in an undertone. I believe they were attacked. Spock looks like he took a phaser blast point blank. The human had his head beaten in by something, or someone. Gull frowned. I see. Starfleet has a vessel en route at this very moment. Would you believe they were already in this sector? Nor stood, eyes widening. Spock doesn't want us to surrender them to Starfleet. He grasped Gull by the shoulders. We don't have to meet the vessel. We could try to... What? Outrun a starship? And this old freighter? Gull chuckled, incredulously. This is out of our hoobs. And who's to say this Spock is in his right mind, Unless you can confirm that he is, we must release them. Nor's face fell. I just have a bad feeling. I'm a doctor, and those are my patients. Gull sighed, patting his shoulder again consolingly. Patients that require expert care, old friend. You've done excellent work, But you don't know the first thing about Vulcans or humans. Their best chance is with Starfleet. All feelings aside, that is the truth. Nor didn't reply as Gould left him. Instead, he stared at the empty doorway, conflicted. His captain was right, but that didn't change how he felt. At the very least, he wished to impart some information before surrendering them into Starfleet's awaiting arms. He procured the coordinates and filled a hypospray with something risky, but sure to get the Vulcan's attention, if only for a moment. It hissed as he pressed the device to Spock's neck. He stirred, eyes opening just enough to show it had worked. Nor whispered in his ear, "I tried, but Starfleet's coming for you. Remember these coordinates. It's where your pods were discovered, just after a strange anomaly disappeared. 38, 16, 79, 27. Spock nodded once in understanding. Nor knew that even under these circumstances, a Vulcan would not forget. Should you ever wish to find us, our freighters called Grieva. Good luck. The Vulcan drifted to sleep once more. Nor straightened, hopeful that he'd done his small part and might one day have the answers he sought. Enterprise, eh? I hope you live to see her.